was very much one of the captives. He was enslaved with him, but God spoke to him and said, listen, I need you to say something to my people. What do you want me to say, Lord? He says, speak. And I want you to speak comfortably to my people. But I want you to tell them, say, comfort ye, says your God. Can you see him? Can you see him? Can you see him? Standing up looking at these people who are Solomon, who is weeping now because they are so miserable. But he's standing and saying, take comfort. Take comfort. Your God says, take comfort. Well, how do I take comfort when I'm in this miserable state? They were in a miserable state, and as a result, the reason they were so miserable because they thought that God had forgotten them. That God has forgotten. We have left our homeland. Our homeland is ruined. Jerusalem is no longer there. It's ruined. And out of all of it being ruined, we are locked up in Babylon. We are so far away from Jerusalem that God can't even reach us. Watch this. This is the preachment. God's chosen people. Do you understand that they were to be the conduit through which, good God Almighty, the blessing of God was to flow to all of us? But here they are being chosen, and here they are who have actually experienced walking through the Red Sea on dry ground. Here they are, the ones who wandered around in the wilderness. They saw it, and their parents' shoes never wore out. Clothes never got ragged. Food being fed bread from manna. They watched them. Now, this is a generation. Y'all generation. They have experienced and seen what God had done with their foreparents, but here they are. They was all messed up because they too were disobedient like their parents. But they thought that God didn't care about them. My sisters and brothers, the gospel of comfort says that God will never forget about you. It makes no difference where you are and what you've done. You may forget God, but God will never forget you. God does not create that which he creates because what he creates, he loves. And no matter how ugly you are, no matter how badly you behave, he will never forget you. And I don't care if you are strung out there somewhere, if you think you're lost and can't find your way home, God knows where you are, and he has not forgotten about you. He will not forget about you. These people who were there, their heart is sickened and their minds are messed up, and their mind is occupied with that negative. They feel that God has forgotten them. And this generation, they was all captured, and they couldn't capture it, and they couldn't see how to get up. They thought that there was no power on earth strong enough to break the yoke of oppression in which they found themselves. But God had this prophet to tell them, stand up now, comfort yourself, because God has not forgotten you. They knew the conditions that they were in. It was all because of their disobedience. And one thing that they knew, they acknowledged that God was justified by dealing with them the way that he did. Lost and brokenhearted, they were so distraught. They didn't need Elijah to come and call fire down from heaven on the enemy. They were in a situation where they did not even need the prophet to talk to the king about his weals and woes. What they needed most of all and supremely, they needed the son of conciliation with a healing word, a word that would really have arms to wrap around them and restore them into their own position as they were before they went into slavery. And what I'm saying to you is that when we are in our stuff, We are moved from God. We are paining. Nobody seems to be able to move the pain. We don't need a whole lot of stuff that folks talk about. Folks says, I'm paining now, I'm hurting, I don't know what to do. Well, child, all you need to do is just go on a cruise. I'm paining now, I'm hurting, I don't know how to get out of the mess I got myself into. Well, all you need to do, baby, is go get yourself a shot, and you'll be all right. No, that's not going to work. What you need most of all, you need a word from the Lord. You need a word that is going to put strength in you. You need a word that is going to embrace you. You need a word that's going to pull you close to God's bosom so you can feel his heartbeat of love. You need a word of comfort. God says comfort. Comfort my people. Speak comfortably to Jerusalem. Cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquities are pardoned, for she has received of the Lord's hand double her sins. Yes, in other words, God has punished you. God has done what he wants to do with you. God now is ready to take punishment away from you and bring you back to home where you belong in relationship with God. Now, comfort ye my people, saith your God. Oh man, like the Babylonians, we are in exile. Our deepest need is ever before us today. Out of all of the common ills of the flesh that we can inherit, we find ourselves confronted with anxieties and troubles. Many of them about us. Some we call ourselves, some come to us because of other folks. Some come and we're always looking for somebody else to say, who can we blame? Y'all like to blame my president for a lot of stuff, but we have problems. We're in a situation that if you can really face reality, man is pictured as being contemptuously insignificant. Therefore, think that we ain't important. Human life is transit and valueless. And the light of hope seems to have faded into dark cloud of moral decadence and pessimism. Social unrest, jealousy of nations, the constant threat of war, and a revolution that has taken place in the world thought, which has undermined our faith in God. Surely, in this predicament, we stand in need of a message of comfort. Some heavenly tonic, if you will, that would cheer and invigorate us to speak the divine word, the word that will rekindle the faith that we had in God. That's what we need. He said, comfort ye my people. The message comfort. Now watch this. The word comfort here is not that which says, I want you to just sit down and things be smoothed over. No. What he means is that the comfort says, I want you to be empowered and invigorated. Now, putting meat on that bone for you. Here they are. Now, can you see them? Sitting there lethargic, sitting there depressed, sitting there thinking that this life that they have is not really what God wants them to have. They're miserable. But what God is saying through comfort, gird up your loins, get ready to move. See, what God is saying that where you are is not where I want to keep you.